Hello guys, this is Linzel's here, and today we'll be reading Gross Body Invaders by Ruth Owen. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into it. Gross Body Invaders by Ruth Owen. Who's living on and in your body? When people think about where animals live, they might think of a forest or the ocean. They probably don't think of their own bodies as a home for living things, but they should. The human body provides food and a place to stay and reproduce for millions of body invaders. Some body invaders, such as fleas, are big enough to see just using your eyes. Others, such as bacteria, are so small that you need to use a microscope to see them. In this book, you'll have a chance to see amazing images of some body invaders using powerful microscopes. Scientists have zoomed in on these living things to show them up close and in great detail. So get ready to be grossed out by the creatures living on and inside of you. This tiny body invader, a Tigog flea, has buried itself into the skin between a person's toes and is drinking the person's blood. Back of flea, toe. Thousands of different types of bacteria live on and inside the body, the human body. Some types of bacteria are harmful, causing illnesses and disease. Others do important jobs, such as breaking down food in the stomach. Bacteria that cause bad breath. This is a human's tongue, as seen under a microscope. The yellow strands are the bacteria that cause bad breath. Itchy, scratchy head lice. Head lice are insects that live in human hair. They feed by drinking blood from the heads of their victims. Soon after invading a person's head, a female head louse will begin laying up to 8 eggs or nits a day. She sticks each egg onto a piece of hair using glue that she makes inside her body. After about 7 days, the eggs hatch into young lice called nymphs. It takes the nymphs just 2 weeks to become adult lice and begin laying their own eggs. This means that hundreds of lice can be living on a person's head in just a few weeks. Head lice cannot jump, but they can walk from the hair of one person to another if 2 heads touch. They can also spread from one person to another on items such as homes, pillows, or hats. Head lice make the victim's head feel very itchy. Human hair, egg, glue. Head lice eggs are smaller than a pinhead. Head lice have strong legs and large claws for holding onto hairs. Face evading eyelash mites. Humans have lots of small hairs growing on their faces. Eyebrows, eyelashes, nose hair, and lip hair, known as a mustache, all grow out of tiny openings in the skin called follicles. The eyelash mite is a microscopic body invader that can live in all these hair follicles on human faces. The worm-like eyelash mite lives head down in the follicle. Here, it feeds on skin oil and pieces of dead skin. The mite doesn't hurt humans, but if too many mice try to live in one follicle, that piece of hair could fall out. The eyelash mite is so good at disgusting its food that the creature does not want to produce any waste, such as urine or poop. That's good news for humans, because it means people don't have the eyelash mite on their faces. An eyelash mite that has been magnified. Eyelash mite tail. These eyelash mites are feeding head down in a hair follicle. Daily mosquito bites. Adult mosquitoes feed on fruit and nectar from plants. In order to produce eggs, however, a female mosquito must get nourishment by sucking the blood of a human or some other mammal. Most types of mosquitoes are not dangerous to people. But some kind of anopheles mosquitoes can transmit the disease malaria to humans. Malaria is caused by a tiny living thing called parasites. A mosquito is carrying the malaria parasites, bites a human. It passes the parasites from this body to the body of its victim. The parasites then invade the person's blood and liver, causing great damage. More than 1 million people worldwide die from malaria each year. Mosquito net. People who live where malaria is a threat sometimes protect themselves from getting the disease by sleeping under nets treated with chemicals that kill mosquitoes. About 9% of malaria deaths happen in Africa. People are also at risk in parts of Asia, Central and South America. Malaria medicines are available, and it's important that infected people get treatment fast before the disease becomes life-threatening. A mosquito uses long, jagged mouthpart to pierce its victim's skin. Blood-sucking black-legged ticks. Black-legged ticks live in the Northwest, Midwest, Southwest, and Western United States. Adult ticks feed by sucking blood from mammals, including humans. These ticks are sometimes called deer ticks, but they often feed on deer. The black-legged tick lives on plants or on grasses. When a person passes by, a tick can climb onto the person's clothing and crawl to a warm, dark place on the person's body, such as an armpit. And it then pierces its victim's skin with its mouthparts and starts to suck blood. If it is not discovered, the tick will continue feeding for several days until it's a balloon-like blood-filled blob. Black-legged ticks carry the bacteria that cause Lyme disease. People infected with Lyme disease may feel as they have the flu. In serious cases, people may suffer damage to their hearts or nervous system. A blood-filled tick inside a dog's ear. This black-legged tick had the mouth part buried in the hamster's skin. Rat fleas and the bubonic plague. Blood-sucking fleas do not just bite animals, such as dogs and rats. If there are no animals nearby to get blood from, fleas may bite humans. This can sometimes be very dangerous to the victims. In the Middle Ages, the deadly bubonic plague was spread across Europe with a type of flea called the Oriental rat flea. Back then, most towns and villages were dirty places. Many rats and fleas lived alongside humans. Some of the rats carried the bacteria that caused bubonic plague. When fleas sucked blood from the infected rats, they picked up the bacteria. Then, if the fleas bite a human, they pass the bacteria to them, spreading plague. At the time, millions of people were killed by the disease. Oriental rat fleas can still carry bubonic plague today. Thankfully, most people no longer share their homes with rats and fleas. The disease is rarely spread to humans. Rodents, such as prairie dogs, can carry rat fleas, however. People should avoid handling these animals. An Oriental rat flea clinging to the fur of a rat. These bubonic plague bacteria have been magnified so that they look 2,400 times bigger than they actually are. The horror of hookworms. Some kinds of adult hookworms can live in the human digestive system. There, a female hookworm will produce thousands of eggs during her lifetime. The egg will leave the body in a person's poop and can end up on the ground. Young worms, called larvae, hatch from the eggs and live on the ground until they come into contact with a human victim. They burrow through the person's skin and are carried in the blood to the lungs. They are then coughed up into the mouth and swallowed. Once the larvae are swallowed, they end up attached to the small intestine. Here they become adults and begin feeding on the victim's blood. Many poor countries do not have clean ways of getting rid of human waste, so poop containing hookworm eggs can end up on the ground. When larvae hatch from the eggs, people may come in contact with them, either on their hands or bare feet. This hookworm larvae is burrowing into a person's foot. Tooth-like structure. A hookworm attaches to its victim's small intestine using tooth-like structures. Terrible tapeworms. Tapeworms are parasites that live in human digestive system. They feed by taking nutrients from the victim's body. When this occurs, the victims may lose weight. One way that humans can become infected with tapeworms is by eating raw or undercooked pork or beef that has already been infected with tapeworm larvae or young. So, how do the tapeworm larvae get into the meat? Food that contains tapeworm eggs from infected humans can end up in places where pigs and cattle eat or drink. Once inside animals, the eggs hatch. The tapeworm larvae that come out and grow and spread to the animal's muscles or meat. If people eat this infected meat without cooking it properly, the larvae will still be alive. Once the meat is eaten, the larvae will end up in the victim's intestines, where they'll grow into adult tapeworms. Tapeworms have flat, ribbon-like bodies. Some types can grow to be 30 feet, 9 meters long. This tapeworm was taken from inside a human digestive system. Tapeworm attaches itself to the wall of a victim's intestine using hooks and suckers. Sucker. Hungry horseflies. Female horseflies need a meal of blood to help their eggs develop. They get blood from biting humans and other large mammals, such as horses and cattle. A bite from this body invader feels like a hot needle piercing the skin. To get its blood, a horsefly lands on its victim and attacks. It has two saw-like body parts called mandibles. It uses the mandibles to cut a hole in the victim's skin. When the blood starts flowing from the wound, the fly licks it up. A horsefly attack isn't dangerous to a human, but the bites can be painful and itchy. Horseflies are sneaky and often attack people on the back of their legs or necks. Scientists do not know how the flies choose where to bite, but they seem to pick spots where they won't be seen. By the time the victim realizes the fly is there, it is too late. Horseflies sucking blood from a person's hand. Mandibles. Eye. Like all flies, horseflies have large eyes that can see in many different directions at the same time. And that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Later.